It's the Thursday drivers' press conference from Barcelona, and joining us today are Fernando Alonso of McLaren, Carlos Sainz from Toro Rosso, and Sebastian Vettel from Ferrari. Fernando, we'll start with you if we may. What are you hoping to take out of this weekend here in Barcelona?
Well, let's see what we can do here. Definitely, our moment right now is not the best. We've been underperforming on the first 4 races, and we didn't finish any of the Grand Prix yet. In my case, so definitely, first step is to improve what we've been doing so far, which is not difficult. Second is to find how competitive we can be here in this track, which is quite different compared to the last couple of races, and plus with the upgrades that everyone brings here, normally things may change, so we need to find out where we are, in which positions we can move this weekend. And then secondly is reliability. We need to raise our game and hopefully finish with both cars this race and accumulate some mileage. So some things that we need to put in place starting this weekend for the rest of the season. So hopefully this is the starting point of a new championship for us.
How have you and the team dealt with the did not start in Sochi, and what news is there on the recovery program with Honda?
Well, actually, I still don't know what happened exactly in Sochi. I think we had problems with the air system on the formation lap. I tried to restart the whole thing during the formation lap a couple of times, but in the last attempt, the car didn't start. So, yeah, really, bad for us and as a team, not being able to start the race with Stoffel's car in Bahrain, with my side of the garage in Russia. So completely unacceptable. And we need to, as I said, raise our game here in terms of reliability and hopefully finish with both cars.
2 weeks to go to your Indy 500 race debut. You've had some practice at the Brickyard. How's it going?
Did you watch it?
Yeah, on the stream.
Okay, you really have nothing to do, I mean, yeah, it was different, probably as I expect to be. The car felt quite different. Running this asymmetric setup definitely feels not normal to drive. So you need to adjust a little bit your mindset, going into the run and into the first corner. But yeah, at the end of the day, I felt a little bit more comfortable. I was able to start feeling some of the setup changes and things like that, because I think the driving technique is quite different. So, step by step, I did the first one, which is just the first, feeling with the car. But now, I think when next week we start the free practice and you start running with other people around, etc., I think I will hopefully build a little bit more confidence and start understanding what the car needs and what I need as well to be prepared for May 28th. So yeah, two intense weeks ahead, but yeah, pretty much looking forward.
Good. Thank you very much for that. Carlos, coming to you, you've scored points in 3 of 4 races this season, sometimes from qualifying outside of the top 10. Is the battle with Williams, Force India and Renault one that Toro Rosso feel you can win this year?
Definitely. I think as a target, Toro Rosso was very clear at the beginning of the year. They wanted to finish P5 in the championship. I think it has been an interesting start to the season, having 5 teams fighting for probably P4 as the best result. In my opinion, at the moment, it looks like Williams has a bit the upper hand on every one of us, having a car closer to the Red Bull than to us. But we are definitely making steps little by little. We are taking our chances, and we have 11 points from my side, 13 from the team, and yeah, we are getting there, and hopefully the upgrade this race helps us to get closer to them, because they are that tiny step ahead at the moment.
And you're happy with how you're driving, the steps you're making?
Yeah, I think I can be pretty happy. It has been probably my best start of a Formula One season up until now. Extra year of experience is obviously helping, but also I think both qualifying and race have been quite good, so I cannot complain. Pretty solid start, and we need to keep going like that.
Red Bull has a heavily updated car here this weekend. What are you bringing, and how much of the key to your season lies in the engine update from Renault whenever it comes?
Well, we are obviously bringing our upgrades, probably like any other team. We just hope that our upgrades are better than the others. Particularly to those midfield, I don't really look to what Ferrari, Mercedes or Red Bull are bringing, because they're obviously in another league and with totally different budgets and totally different performance on track. So probably my only concern is to make sure our upgrades give us those tenths we need, and the others don't improve, like Williams, Renault and Haas, even McLaren. They don't improve as much as we do.
Okay, thank you for that. Sebastian, coming to you. Your best start to a season since 2011, I believe, and you're 13 points clear in the drivers' standings. It seems this year the emphasis has shifted from Ferrari and the others trying to find a way past Mercedes to Mercedes having to find a way past you. Is that the way it feels?
I think we are obviously in a much better position this year than previous years, but it's still fairly early. I think this will be an important race. As you touched on, usually the time when people start to bring a couple more bits, but then again, you know, if you look the last, I don't know, 10 years, it's not anymore that fixed date where you bring a new car. You know, the top teams tend to bring stuff nearly every race. So I don't know, to answer your question, I don't feel it's like that. I think Mercedes obviously had a phenomenal run the last couple of years, and they are still the ones to beat. Not just, you know, maybe if you look race by race, but also overall, they've been a dominant team, and it's difficult to break that. But I think we're trying our best.
Well, you mentioned the upgrades. Let's drill down into that maybe a little bit more. Obviously, they're going to be crucial to you maintaining your challenge. Do you have as much confidence in Ferrari's ability to deliver the upgrades as you've had in the car that they built you at the beginning of this season?
Well, I think it was impossible to have any sort of expectation going into this year because everything was so new. I think that's fair for all of us. Plus, obviously, the last year we had the year we had last year was, yeah, a little bit up and down, a bit difficult. So, I think we just looked after ourselves and tried to build the best car that we can. And I think there's no doubt, looking at the results now, that we have, you know, the right group of people on board to be able to build the car that you need to win races. We've proven in the 2 out of 4 races. But as you said, it all matters what you keep doing, and it doesn't matter what you have done. So I believe that we still have, I know that we still have the same people, and believe they can, bring the upgrades that we need to keep fighting.
Pole position last time out in Sochi. We all know that pole is crucial here at Barcelona. So is that where you're going to put your focus during the free practice sessions?
Yeah, quali and race, so no surprises. Obviously, this is a track that we know very well, but the conditions usually are very different when we come here in May compared to February or March. So I think, yeah, you're always aiming for pole position, so if I could choose, then I would put myself on pole, but it's fairly boring if you could choose on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow and then the build-up through Saturday. And then we, as I said, try to do the best quality we can and prepare the race as much as possible as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's throw it open to the floor. Please remember to give us your name and your publication when you ask a question. Who has the first one for us this afternoon, please?
Seth Harding, Zero Zone News. This question is for Fernando. Fernando, you have an impressive collection of cars here in Spain that you've had the pleasure to drive in. Will this Indy car be added to that collection and featured in your museum?
Yeah. It's coming after the race, the car, so it will be on the museum as well. So yeah, every car that I jump in from 2004 or something like that is always in my contract that will be in the museum afterwards. So this one is not different.
Okay, next one.
Next one. Gentleman over there. Yeah. James, can you give it the mic, please? Thank you.
Mike Doodson, Auto Action. This is for Seb. Those last 15 laps at Sochi were pretty exciting. I couldn't help wondering whether if you had caught up to Valtteri, you would have been able to go past him. And I'm wondering if, because the overtaking this year is not as even less than it was last year, whether there's any value in increasing the DRS, either the distance or the gap between cars, to improve the chances. Would you have been able to overtake more easily if that had been the case?
First of all, I don't think I'm in favor in increasing the DRS zones. I think we have been, a couple of years ago when we introduced it to some races where it was just way too easy, which was great when you were behind because you just sailed past, but that's not the idea of an overtake. I think it's normal that you have races where there's more overtaking and less, but for, I think, many reasons in Sochi, it was quite difficult to overtake. The tires lasted fairly well, so you were able to push whether you were in front or behind. So there wasn't much degradation helping you maybe to come with an advantage on tires. The track layout doesn't make it very easy to follow close, which we've seen in the past as well. Historically here, for example, with the last corner, which makes it quite difficult to get really close for the straight line. Personally, of course, I would have loved to be closer and then try to do something. But then again, it's also a challenge. So you need to not just arrive and then drive past or have some tool that puts you side by side. So you have to work for it, try different lines, do different things. And I think in Sochi, I just arrived too late. So really, it was the last two laps where I was maybe getting closer. But before that, it was as exciting for me as well to just try and chase him down, to try and do something at the end. Obviously, it would have been great if it had worked. It didn't, but I was looking forward to it, maybe as much as you were. And some days it works, some days it doesn't. I think we shouldn't get into a window again where it's artificial. It is difficult to pass, but if you make it, which maybe sometimes you will or somebody else will, then you should get credit for it. If you don't, you didn't make it.
Third row gentleman with a blue jumper on the other side. Thank you.
Flavio Vanetti, Corriere della Sera, to Fernando Alonso. I read an interview in which you say that next season you will be for sure in Formula One again. With McLaren or with any other team, does it mean that you consider a comeback to Ferrari as well? It's as I said at the beginning of the year, this is my last year with the contract that I have now with McLaren. So I will have to think a little bit after the summer, because now it's quite a busy period, and now plus the Indy 500 thing will not, be the time to think any further than this summer. But yeah, around September, October, I need to consider what I will do next year. If it's time to find other challenges outside Formula One, or if Formula One will be an opportunity to win the championship, which is my main goal. So yeah, I'm very open to anything. I think with this year's cars and with the 2017 regulations, the cars are good to drive. I think Formula One is back in a way. We see this real, power of, efficiency, corner speed, things that, we were missing in the last couple of years. The cars, they look nice from the outside with the big tires, everything. So I like this Formula One. So my intention or my first priority is to race next year here, and not only to race, I want to win. So now that I have not any more obligations with McLaren, I'm happy with the team, but we are not winning. So if from here to September, October, we are in a position that I see clearly a possibility to win in 2018, I will be more than happy to stay with the team. If it's not the case, I will be more than happy to talk to anyone.
Gentlemen there, second row, blue jumper.
Ian Parks, The New York Times. Question for Fernando. Fernando, it's been a few months now since Ron departed the scene and Zach came on board. Can you give me some idea as to the culture change that's gone on behind the scenes over these few months, what Zach has brought to the team, and what benefit you can see going forward to push McLaren back up to the front again?
Well, I think they are very different. And I think there is not a magic solution or a magic way to lead a team to success. So I think, Ron had a fantastic time in the past in McLaren with a lot of success in the belt. And now with Zach, I think things are a little bit more open inside the team, but also for you guys outside, how you can approach McLaren now is different in a commercial side, also in a technical side, and I think also Zach, the biggest difference is the vision and the approach for the brand, for McLaren, which is a little bit different and wants to expand the McLaren name in different worlds and in different categories. So we see with the Indy 500, I think it's not only this year. I think McLaren will be in the Indy 500 for the future. I think McLaren will be in the 24-hour Le Mans for the future, as they were in the past when they won the Indy 500, when they won Le Mans. So I think that's the biggest change that we can feel inside McLaren. That Zach will not only concentrate in Formula One, will concentrate in McLaren as a race team in different series, and the most important thing is obviously to sell cars, and to sell the McLaren cars you need to open to new markets, and especially the US market probably is the biggest one.
Next one, close to you.
Yeah. Fred Ferrer, L'Équipe. Question to Carlos and Fernando. Carlos, how do you live the difficulties Fernando lives this year in his car? And Fernando, how do you rate the progress Carlos made in Formula One?
How do I live the difficulty? Well, I obviously think very similar to all you guys. I think that Fernando, at the moment, with the talent and experience he has, he should be fighting for world titles, and he hasn't had the chance for a lot of years now, no? So I really hope he gets one day back to those positions to be fighting, because I'm sure he will do a good job like he has always done, and I hope I can join him on those battles soon. And that's it. Nothing really to say. I hope he gets back on top soon.
No, for Carlos, in my case, with my question, well, I think is everyone can see, the progress that Carlos made in the last 3 years, and he started already, I think, impressing a lot of people because I think he has the talent. He won the smaller categories until F1, and I think that this young generation, they are, very well prepared, and they arrive into Formula One with a lot of already practice simulator. They follow a program in the junior academies from the Red Bull Academy or the Ferrari Academy or wherever. So I think they arrive to Formula One and it's not a shock. They are ready, they are prepared. So, if you add that preparation to the talent that Carlos has, already on the first year he was at the very, very high level. And now with experience, I think he's one of the best on the grid. And hopefully I can fight a little bit this year, like last year, that he started well, but then he dropped behind at the end of the year. So we'll see this year.
Next one, front row. Yeah.
Ralf Bach, Autobild Motors, but a question to Fernando. If you had theoretically the free choice to get one of the 4 engines next year for McLaren, which would you take?
I think Honda, no? They are with a long term. There are 4 engines. So there are 3. I cannot answer, I think you always want the best engine on your car. And McLaren and Honda, they have this partnership
which is long-term partnership with I think a very strong commitment from both. Now things are not going in the way they thought at the beginning, but they are putting a lot of effort to improve the situation. So I think the McLaren Honda name and partnership will be for long term. So I think they need to find a way to extract performance and power from the engines. So hopefully we can see the progress in a very short term, and this year fight for something big.
We go over there, gentlemen with the green shirts.
Dan Knutson, Auto Action and Speed Sport. Carlos, as you say, you've improved and you're a better driver after another year of experience. Any specific area, or is it more a case of just little things everywhere?
No specific areas, to be honest. I feel like since I arrived to F1, I've just improved in every single area that you can imagine. And it's just experience. It comes race by race. You feel also a bit more confident. You get to know a lot more your car, your team, the human side also from the team. You have better relationships with everyone. You can optimize every single part of your car, of your personal performance, and all this keeps adding, and you just perform a little bit better and better every race we can, and you're able sometimes to shine a bit more. Other weekends that not so much because you have a bit more bad luck or something, but the importance is to keep learning, as I've been doing up until now, and when you have a chance, like in China, for example, try to shine a bit extra, no? To try and show a bit yourself, no? And yeah, I think that's it, experience and more experience.
Lead in front of him, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Name and publication.
Pilar for Paddock Magazine. My question is for Sebastian. There has been some rumors in the Italian media saying that you may go to Mercedes next year. Would you like to say something about it, or is something you don't really care?
I don't know. I didn't know it was. Is it coming from Italy then? Maybe you asked to the Italians, so they seem to know more than I do. So I think the situation is clear. Obviously, the main focus is on this year. That's not a secret, and it's not the line that I drop. It's a fact, for all of us inside the team. Obviously, we find ourselves in a very good position this year, and that's what we want to keep that way and want to use. So everything else is not that important. So there have been also some rumors, I think, previous years. I don't know, maybe some are from Italy, some are from Germany. So in that case, maybe you should refer to the Italians.
Quickly going on the other side, please. Quickly. Gentleman over there. Yeah, pass it microphone. Yeah, thank you.
Ottavio Davidi, Tutto Sport. Question to Sebastian. Fernando talked about his future, and my question for you is: if you stay in Ferrari, are you open to have such a driver, such a personality as Fernando as a teammate, or not?
Well, in general, you should be ready to race whoever comes along. So I think Fernando has the reputation he has for many reasons, not just for 2 championships, for many other reasons, many races, many years he's been around. So, in the end of the day, I'm not signing, I'm signing my contract, but I'm not signing other people's contracts, so it's not my decision. But as I said, I'm ready to race whoever comes along, and I'm sure everybody's different. The teammates that I had, they were very different, not just as a person, but also, you can imagine as drivers, different styles, different strengths, different weaknesses. So, it's also something that you then share, obviously, a lot more open, and you can improve and probably make another step depending on who's by your side. So it's always new inputs, but I think the way we are set up right now, we find ourselves very happy. And as I said, the focus is on this year, despite the fact that for next year there's nothing on paper, but the mentality or the approach inside the team is definite that we want to focus on what we have in front of us.
Behind you, gentleman standing. Quickly.
Thank you. Ben Hunt from The Sun. Sebastian, on-track battle's one thing with Lewis. When it comes to a psychological battle with him, do you think that you have the edge over him in that department?
No.
Why not?
I don't do psychological battle, so...
But there's no pressure on you, is there, really? When you think about it, you know, you're not expected to deliver so much so in the car. He's obviously not defending champion, but they're champions, all that sort of stuff.
It's perfect for me, then. If you don't expect me to deliver anything, I can only win, so... No, I think obviously there's some stuff that can be interpreted as psychological battle, but I'm not into that at all. I love driving, and that's what I really care about. Whether there's some signs or whatever that you pass back and forth. Maybe, as I said, I'm not. I think he has the upper hand. I'm not clever enough to interpret them, to read them. So.
Lady in front of him for the last question of this panel, please.
Yolan Skinner, Motorsport Monday. This is for Sebastian. Who would you like to be fighting in the last corner of the race, and why?
Well, obviously, I hope that I'm there.
Fight with me. You will overtake on the straight.
Yeah, it would be great to see you. Yeah, I don't know. The race is far away, but I guess you're referring to who will win the race. So if we can be in that fight up to the last corner, then that would be great. You can pick one. I don't mind. As long as you pick me as the second one or first one, whatever, then it's fine.
Thank you very much. As you know, we swap in the driver.
Thank you very much.
At it right now, it's obviously not maybe the best decision because Honda is struggling quite a lot at the moment. But I think in the longer term for the team, I think it can be a very clever decision because I'm sure Honda sooner or later will get it together. But yeah, let's wait and see. At the moment, it's maybe not the best one.
And what impact does it have on this season in terms of preparation for next year? Does it impact the way you approach things? Does it impact you as drivers?
No, not really, I wouldn't say. I mean, we have the engine we have at the moment, and we need to maximize our season and focus on that. And then, as every team, at some point, you need to start looking at the next season and focus the development for next year. But at the moment, all our focus is on this season and try and catch up that midfield group.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Coming to you, Lewis, can we say hello to Roscoe? Is he quickly? He's underneath the desk.
He's sleeping already.
He needs to make a guess. Can you lift him up, or is he too heavy?
No, it's too heavy.
Okay. You've been very consistent for so long.
You might have a heart attack.
You've been very consistent for so long. It seemed odd that Sochi went the way it did. Have you figured out what happened?
Yeah, it was just a bunch of small things, all added up in one part. Nothing in particular. No single one thing that was bigger than another. That just led us in a slightly wrong direction, but should be better this weekend.
The team was talking about the difficulty of getting these tyres into the particular window. Is that a contributing factor? Is it less likely to be a factor this weekend, for example?
Well, I mean, it's a tyre issue, so that in the sense of the tyre window working range is quite small, so. Yeah, the whole weekend I generally wasn't in there, in the right window with it. So,
obviously, if you couldn't win, it was a good job that your teammate Valtteri Bottas managed to finish ahead of Vettel. How pleased were you personally for Valtteri, and what do you expect from him now that he's got that first win under his belt?
Well, I already said from the beginning of the season that he was in competition, so there's no surprise that he would that he would eventually get a win. But I was actually really happy. I mean, you saw at the end of the race, so I could at least be happy and sharing the glory of the team beating the Ferraris still and keeping us in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. So I was proud of what we had achieved. I just wish that I could have backed him up in the sense of got a 1-2, but we can work on maybe this weekend.
Okay, thank you for that. And coming to you, Max, it's 12 months since you sat in this room, having just made the switch to the Red Bull team, and what a weekend that turned out to be for you. Your learning curve has been more or less vertical since then, but I wonder, in what areas do you feel that you've made real improvement from 12 months ago to now?
Difficult to say. I think... what?
You're driving lessons.
I already had that back then. Yeah. Yeah, I think I
No, you didn't.
Yeah, 5 months already.
I was just saying he's got his driving license now, so it's a big step.
Yeah, I think it's just general experience, both in life and in racing, but nothing major, I would say, in terms of driving the car faster or something. It just, that all comes to little things, and if you feel better in the car, you understand the car better, but yeah.
What about the way you deal with these guys, and particularly the ones at the front?
Well, yeah, you're driving more amongst them, compared to what I was doing before. But, that was always the aim and the target once I moved into Formula One. So, yeah, natural process, I guess.
So we know you have a heavily updated car here. Can you put it in context for us, just how different it is, and what were the key areas for you that needed to be addressed in how it handles?
I think, first of all, everybody is bringing quite a few updates. Hopefully our updates will bring us a little bit more to the front. But I think in every area, we can always improve. So I think that's what we are aiming to do with the car. Yeah, you see a few differences on the car, and hopefully, we can close the gap already a little bit here, and then go on from there.
And in terms of what you wanted fixed and how it handles?
Every area. It needs to be faster everywhere.
Okay, let's throw it to the floor. Give us your name and publication when you ask a question. Who's got the first one for us, please?
Seb Hardy in Zero Zone News. This question's going to go to Lewis. Lewis, oftentimes you've been referred to as the Jedi Knight of F1, and it is, Star Wars. I refer to you as the Jedi Knight of F1. And this is the month that we celebrate Star Wars. So the question to you is, what color lightsaber would you choose? This is a very important question because this is going to go on social media, and you know it. It'll determine what side of the Force you're on.
Well, firstly, it's kind of exciting that we've got a different question, a much different question. Mine would be purple, but I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. Obviously, good friends with George, and a huge admirer of what he created for Star Wars. I think it's freaking amazing. Excited for seeing every one, and I'm excited to see what comes next.
Next one. Lady over there, second row, second shirt.
Juana Popoyo, F1 Zone, a question for all of you. Kimi Raikkonen drove half of the Russian Grand Prix knowing he has Valtteri Bottas behind and not Lewis Hamilton. How important is it for you to know what driver is behind you? Do you drive different knowing it's one or another?
No, I mean, usually you know who is behind you if you're in a close fight with them. If there's someone that's not that close, then it doesn't really matter. But I wouldn't say, I mean, some drivers may be more aggressive than others, but in the end, I think we all respect each other and, yeah, race in a good way.
I always know who's behind me, so, but it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't make a difference, and if you don't know, look at your pit board. It's standing on the pit board.
Thank you. Next one. Gentleman over there, second row.
Phil Duncan, PA. Lewis, this is obviously the first year since you've come back to Spain, since your crash last year with Nico. I was just wondering, firstly, what you drew from that experience as a driver and as a person, and secondly, the reports or the subsequent reports that you sort of threatened to, or you offered to quit Mercedes after the crash.
Sorry, what was the question?
So did you offer to quit Mercedes after the crash with Nico last year in Spain?
I did not.
And did you? And secondly, what did you learn as a person and as a driver from that experience?
Not much really. It was a racing incident. I had lots of crashes during my career, and it was just another one. We got through it pretty smoothly, well, as smooth as it could be, I would say. And yeah, went on and won many more races after that. So.
Next one, front row.
Is to all drivers, if you can start from you, Luis. You said that one of the problems main problem you had in the last race was to take the tire in the window temperature. And here you have the most hard tires Pirelli supply in Formula One. Do you think it can be an issue here? And to all drivers, please.
The tires are definitely, seems to be quite a small working window, and it's a new tire for us all, so I think we're all learning as we go from race to race. And I think for some cars it perhaps works immediately better for others. There's different preparations. If you look at Bahrain, for example, the Red Bulls drove as slow as they could on the laps to prepare for qualifying, but still had the tires ready. That's where the Ferraris were flat out through for the warm-up laps. So there's a different approach for everyone, and it's a new tire, which is exciting. They are very, very hard tires, so it's it's a hard, safe tire basically. It's going to be interesting this weekend to see how they work.
Yeah, I think in general in Sochi, it's not a lot of grip, and then combined with tricky warm-up, it just makes it a bit more difficult. It was quite difficult to get the tires in the window, and you could see a lot of build laps or second-time laps which were faster. So I think that will be a little bit different here. The tarmac is a bit more rough, so harder on the tires. But yeah, we have quite hard compounds, so we'll see. I think in general, you always try to go for the softer compounds also here. But yeah, I think the warm-up is still critical.
And Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the guys. But the only thing really, apart from that, I could say, I think this weekend we probably could live with another step softer. I think the hard tire is not really usable. So yeah, I think a super soft for qualifying would be quite nice. Yeah.
The last question has been posed by Livio Ricci of Global Sport. Next one, please. Well, okay, take the front row.
Seth Harding, Zero Zone News. Questions for Max. Max, there was a question about, there was some disappointment in Sochi about, the race and that wasn't much overtaking. Do you disagree with that? Do you feel there is better racing now in these at least in the last 4 races, that there has been a better show for everyone to watch now?
Compared to?
Compared to Sochi.
You mean last year?
No, this year.
This year is better racing than?
The other race wasn't
well, yeah, I was a bit surprised that there was only one overtake in Sochi. Yeah, it's just harder to follow with the cars. And then with tires which have a long life, only one pit stop, and I think you could have done no pit stops actually in Sochi. It makes it all a bit harder. I think in Bahrain, when you're struggling a little bit more with the tires, you could see there were 5 cars, behind each other, challenging a bit more. So yeah, I think we need to be at least a bit softer on the tires or something, to get again a bit more exciting racing. But on the other hand, the cars, they are wider, so they create a bigger wake around them. Once you are behind each other, you lose a lot of downforce, and especially with the high cornering speeds we have, it all makes it a bit more tricky.
Any others?
Coming over there standing.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark Tishaw from Autocar in the UK. A question for Lewis. What do you think of the progress Max has made over the past 12 months?
It's pretty bad, to be honest. I think, I don't know. He burst into Formula One, obviously did an amazing job, and I remember last year the great race that he had when he moved to Red Bull, and he's remained a strong component. He's obviously growing. He's got a long way to go. Still 18 still?
19.
19 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got an incredible career up ahead of him.
Again, gentleman over there, yeah, same thing. Yeah, thank you.
Ben Hunt from The Sun. Lewis, last year obviously was a massive talking point. Have you spoken to Nico since he's retired? I know that you share the same Monaco apartment, but I just wondered if you bumped into each other just to have a chat or anything like that.
We have not. I think I've seen, actually, the one time I've seen him, I was running through the streets in London. It was kind of strange, but I was running from Covent Garden all the way down to the Thames, down to like Battersea kind of area and back up through near Parliament, and I was just running on a random street, and someone started running behind me, and then there was a bit of a crowded sidewalk, but someone started running behind me. I looked back, and Nico's obviously seen me on the road as he's going through somewhere in London, and he's jumped out and run alongside me. So we stopped and had a chat for a bit there. That's the first time I've seen him since. Huh? Who was quicker? Well, he was trying to catch up, so.
Next one. Yeah, lady over there.
Pilar for Paddock. My question is for Max. Lewis said in China that he and other drivers should learn from you and the way you drive on wet conditions. But what can you learn from Lewis or your mate in normal conditions? No, I mean you said that he was really, really good on wet conditions, and so
I think it's a bit tricky when you're not in the exact same team, because then you have a lot more information. But still, if you see some races, some overtakes, some starts, some situations what happened during the race, whatever, tire management, you always look to your competitors as well. What they are doing different in terms of lines throughout the whole weekend. So you always try to learn something every single weekend.
Gentleman over there with a white shirt on the other side. Thank you.
Arjan Schouten, AD Sportwereld, the Netherlands. Question for Max. Could you tell me something about your feelings coming to this Grand Prix after a year? There's a lot of Dutch people on the stage, on the side of the road, thousands, I think. Does that affect you in any way, tension-wise and sort of things?
I don't think it did last year. I think last year was more intense. So, no, I mean, of course, it's always good to come back here, but, it's 2017 now, 2016 is gone. Of course, it was a very positive weekend, but now I just want to look ahead and do my race.
Beside him.
Lennart Bloemhoff, Volkskrant. Question for Max also. Last year you earned the title race winner in F1. That's the title for life. Can you say something about that? And did it change your status in F1? Do you feel that it changed your status?
It was nice, but I want to win more races than just that one. So, yeah, it's nice, but that's not what I'm here for, for one single victory. So I want more.
Lady beside you, James, if you can give her the mic.
Rebecca Clancy from The Times. This is for Lewis. You said in Russia that it was a few things that sort of came together. It was nothing in particular. So do you have confidence this weekend that you won't have those same problems? And just secondly, is it nice having Roscoe here, and is Coco, is it the other one? Mm-hmm. Is she here as well? And does it keep you grounded, and do you enjoy having them around during race weekends?
So yeah, it was. I think coming into this weekend, I think we definitely have a better understanding of. We have a good understanding of where we went wrong on our side of the garage, and there's been a huge amount of analysis, as there is, as always, it's from race to race. So I think we've definitely grown from the experience, both having a win and having a fast car, and obviously having a car that struggled in so many areas. So I definitely think we're better equipped now, but I can't really say whether it's going to be better this weekend. I assume it will be, but there are lots of different challenges this weekend with new upgrades for everyone. But we'll be doing a lot of work tomorrow to get the car in the right place. And yeah, I mean, I'm always on the move, so it's great to be able to have your animal, your pet with you. And I'm sure this one over here is stressing a little bit about the fact that I've got the dog in here, but I thought...
He's sleeping. Sorry.
Yeah, he's sleeping, but I thought, I don't think anyone in the whole of history has probably brought their dog to the press conference, so I thought I'd try and do something new.
Next one. Okay, gentleman over there with a blue shirt.
Richards from The Guardian. Lewis, can you tell us whether you think Valtteri is a credible threat to you in the battle for the World Championship this year? And secondly, whether you've had any discussion with the team about when they might back one or the other of you to go for the Drivers' Championship?
I have not had the chat about the backing off, because there's no need to. And of course, he's a credible competitor. He was when he joined. I think it was many of you and perhaps people that are fans, whatever, came with preconceived ideas of how he's going to perform, and he's proved everyone wrong. So fair play to him, and he's going to remain a competitor through the rest of the year. So the fight will go on, and we've started our relationship with a really great foundation, I think. A respectful foundation. I think that'll continue.
Lady in front of it.
Jolan Skinner, Motorsport Monday. Marcus, has the change to the Honda engine for next year, how has that affected you mentally? Are you feeling more motivated or less motivated? What effect has that had on you?
First of all, I only have the contract for this year, so yeah, we have to wait and see for that. But like I said before, for the team, I think in the longer term, it's a good decision. Shorter term, I think yeah, we have to wait and see how Honda performs the rest of the year to be certain on what Sauber gets for the beginning of next year. But yeah, for me, it's all my focus now is on this season, and we have the Ferrari power unit that we need to make the most of, and yeah, develop our car as good as we can, and try and make as good results as possible.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a good Spanish Grand Prix weekend. Full transcript available at FIA.com.